Hey, how y'all doing? It's been a while. Probably like 2 weeks, something like that. I know. I've been kind of doing this every week. I mean, on 1 week, off 1 week, once every 4 weeks or something. I know, but I'm not a person as a creative. I'm not, and just my creative standpoint overall, I see this as something that's creative as well. I don't like doing things just for the heck of it, just to have another video out. I like doing things that somewhat resonate for me, and if something really resonates with me, that's the day I'm going to record. And here we are, something resonated with me, so I'm making this video for y'all. Y'all already know what it's talking about. It's talking about being deserving. I'm going to get into I always stuff. This is very much so an anecdotal channel. I don't give a lot of numbers and like studies and stuff. I'm giving you me. I'm giving you like my perspective, because the channel is about me. What's the name of the channel again? Chris the Brand. I am the brand. Me. So I always got to get my aspect in there, my perspective. Now, I do like to get definitions right for the most part, or I do like to explain certain words that I say to y'all. But other than that, it's a lot of anecdotes. So let's get into it. Now, I just wanted to say in the beginning of this video, no matter what anyone has told you, no matter how you feel about yourself, no matter how many times you've fallen in this lifetime, in this world, on this planet, how many times you've failed, how many times you've given up, how many times you've quit, how many times you've gotten fired, how many times you scrape your knee, it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, I feel like so many of us are deserving of that thing. I'm gonna get a little bit more into what that thing is for me, and hopefully that can help you realize, and hopefully you may already have some things on your mind right now that's like that thing that you know that like you are striving for, that thing that you want, whether it's like it's small to other people or like too big for people to imagine, you know what I mean? But let's go back to the past when I was a child. We always gotta give a like childhood moment, a childhood trauma little moment, so we can get to now. Because and the reason I'm so able to go back to this era is because I'm only 23. Like I don't vividly have the most memories of a lot of these times, because some of this stuff was trauma. But it's easy for me to bring up those feelings, or like at least like somewhat what I was feeling at the time, or the situation at hand that happened and what it did to me, going forward. I may not remember all the situations, but I remember certain aspects and certain situations that basically is like a title head for the rest of the situations that are similar to it. You get what I'm saying? But I'm reading off my notes, by the way. Y'all know I gotta have your boy gotta have his notes. When I was growing up, I believed in what I didn't even have to think about believing in. I didn't put the emphasis on the right words. Let me read that again for you. When I was growing up, I believed in what I didn't even have. I did it again. I'm gonna just read it again, just for my own clarity. When I was growing up, I believed in what I didn't even have to think about believing in. And basically what that means is, when I was a child, and maybe like some of you all as children, we didn't have to, before intervention from other people or things, we didn't have to believe in something. We just were. We just existed. We just expressed what we like naturally for a lot of us, and we just did because we were kids. We just did what just brought us pleasure, whether that was some artistic thing like dancing or drawing or coloring, or like if you like to sing, or if you like to just run around the house. Like we didn't have set stuff in our head, or like dreams and making steps to get to them, because we were just being. We didn't have to believe in ourselves, because it was kind of already there. Like we didn't have to believe in ourselves because we were just doing those things, whether we were doing those things good or not. Because we were children, we were doing those things, and we didn't have to believe in ourselves or have this, a lot of times, outside validation to achieve certain things or to enjoy certain things or to strive towards certain things per se. We didn't need as much back then. But for me personally, I was that same way. So I like to dance. I don't know if I really sung as a child. I know I used to hum a lot, but I may have liked to sing. I like to dance. I like to sing. I like doing little creative stuff. Like one time I remember having a Happy Meal and I made like this little sculpt. It wasn't all that. I was just gluing some shit together. Let me not invalidate Little Chris. I'm sorry, Little Chris, if you listening. If you like, cause I know he in there. I had this McDonald's box. You know the things that the kids meals come in, and Happy Meals come in, and I basically like reconstructed it in some kind of way. I just made it into some cool thing. It wasn't necessarily something. It just was a thing, like a sculpture type of situation. But I glued it together, and it was just stuff like that. I did creative stuff. We talked about these things. We already know where I am with that kind of stuff as a kid. But when it came to me dancing and just the way I naturally express myself, it tended to be more on the more effeminate side of things, or not so masculine side of things. Even dolls. Like I used to like to play with dolls' hair. Like that was it for me. Like, oh my goodness. I don't know where that just I swallowed some dust or something. But if like nothing else that I want to do ever works out, bitch, I will be a hairstylist. And I know that sounds so stereotypical as a gay black man or as a gay man in general, but like hair is just like, that was like one of my first loves. Like I love creative stuff. I love dressing up per se. Like I dressed in the clothes that I had, or like I would be creative with stuff like that around the house. But like that doll's hair, like learning how to braid, like getting my sub ready for the party, like making her a dress out of one of my mom's old stockings. I know it sounds nasty as hell, but like I would find a stocking and I would like put her arms through there, like maybe cut it, like give her a cute little nasty little like a cute what you call it? A cute pencil skirt moment. Like she was ready to go. Like her hair was did, even if she had a bald spot in the bag, like she was ready to go. And like I was in there doing that work. I was getting to work. Irregardless, just stuff like that. Even that, like getting caught playing with dolls, and that being a thing that like I'm not supposed to be doing because I'm a boy. If I was a girl, it wouldn't be an issue. And that was something that I always had an internal battle about, with just like masculinity and femininity, and why men do certain things, why women can do certain things that men can't do. I didn't have all of the, you know, as much perspective as I have now, as I can see women are shied away from doing certain male things and stuff. But to me, it just seemed like women could do anything. Like, I know there are certain boundaries and different stuff like that, but like to me, like women could do anything and not be judged. Like they would get judged for sure. Like if you want to cut your hair down really low, or you like present masculinity, I can see that being an issue. But when you're a feminine boy, it's just like it's like a red flashing light that's flashing hard as fuck, and people don't like that, especially homophobic people. But once I got laughed at for how I sung, or like you know, by my brothers or something like that, or like, you know, talked down on for being more effeminate and expressing myself, it set up the foundation for me to start looking outside of myself for validation. It started making me not believe in myself naturally anymore, because I could be doing this thing wrong, or I could be doing the non-socially acceptable thing in this situation, and I don't want to be talked about. I don't want to be laughed at, because nobody likes to be othered and ostracized for anything, for the most part. Especially as a child, you don't. It just didn't feel nice. I didn't like being talked about. I didn't like being teased, even though this is within the household for the most part. That set the foundation for me to look outside of myself for validation, or how to act, or how to read the room in terms of certain things, and when I can be comfortable, when I can't be comfortable, when I can be really expressive and talkative, and when I can't be, and I need to like quiet it down and just, you know, be very quaint or whatever. And I feel like that's just basically what I'm trying to say, is set the foundation, like I already said. Yes. And it also set the not only set not only set the foundation for me to be looking outside of myself for validation, it also set the foundation for me to feel like I wasn't deserving of certain things. If I act this way, I'm not deserving of love. If I do this certain thing, I'm not deserving of respect from somebody else outside of me. I can expect to be talked about. I can be expect to be ostracized. I can be expected to be gender policed. I can expect all of these things, but I'm not deserving of that already, just as I am base level. You know what I mean? And that really takes a toll on a child's self-esteem and their self-worth and how they view themselves, when you set a foundation for them not to feel deserving as they are. And I still have people in my life that don't feel like I should be able to exist in the way that I am, even though I've been this way my entire life. Irregardless, it made me get this internal thing about not being good enough. And I think that was the first building blocks, but we definitely had some bigger blocks built on top of that foundation later on. But it was already, the seed was already planted of me not feeling good enough. In a lot of my journal entries and a lot of meditations of me like doing like childhood, like looking back at my childhood trauma and CPTSD, what's it called? It's CPTSD, but I forgot what it stands for. But CPTSD, like doing meditations and different stuff, trying to navigate that, and what did that mean to me, and what aspects of that is possibly holding me back. A lot of times in those meditations and journal entries and stuff, what would always come up is me not feeling good enough. And it sounds so simple and so minute, and something that, you know, like you would say that everybody deals with, but at the same time, it's just like that seemed to always be the common denominator, was that I was not good enough. And that's what I got from that foundation, that me being who I am, me expressing myself the way that feels so natural and feels right and makes life all the more brighter and happier for me, and makes me feel so much more, just makes me feel me. It was not good enough, and that's not good. That sets you up for failure in a lot of aspects when you get out of a place of structure where you're being told what to do and kind of specifically guided by people like in certain directions and stuff. But once you start getting more decisions and stuff, more able to make more life decisions and stuff, that not good enough aspect keeps coming up in certain instances. You start to self-sabotage in a lot of ways. Even if you don't think it's conscious, or even if you feel like you're aware of it, you don't necessarily always know the root. And honestly, it could be multiple roots for certain things. But moving on from that, let me change my position real quick. Give y'all a new position or something. And basically, all this came down to was I felt like the win wasn't for me. And that's something that I've been, kind of grappling with with me doing this line and me getting into fashion and like actually working on the things and actually executing and doing these creative things that I really so desperately want to do, but can't sometimes find the energy or the focus to really just sit down and just do it. You know, I a lot of times have blamed my ADHD in the past, but I discovered today another reason or another root or another explanation or like a cause for this behavior. And I'm just going to read a little journal entry for y'all really quick. Honestly, like I said, I was doing some journal entries for what I consider CPTSD, what I think is CPTSD, and like all of that. But that was more so in my shadow work journal and stuff. It wasn't in this journal. This is my journal. And the last journal entry I have in this book is from August the 25th, 2023. And it's October the 7th, 2024. So this is like my first journal entry of the year. I'm trying to get back into journaling because it's good to look back on certain things and certain mindsets I was in. Sometimes you are in certain situations that you don't feel like you can get out of. You feel like it's going to be never ending. Like it feels like this period or cycle is never going to end. And then you look back at a journal entry from months ago or years ago and be like, wow, if only I knew what was coming, or if only I knew I wasn't going to be in that place forever. And that's something that definitely helped me on my journey with bad thoughts. I'll say it like that. Bad thoughts. Some of y'all can kind of guess what I'm talking about. It kind of helped with my mindset on that, because I just realized that nothing is forever, especially in this lifetime, in terms of especially bad things. I feel nothing is forever when it comes to bad things. And I don't necessarily have to be the one to end the bad things, because with me knowing that there is an end in the future, possibly, I can only hope and have faith in a future where it ends, and it kind of typically does, especially on the small level. It gives me hope, basically. But let me read a part of this journal entry to y'all. And I be making up words and stuff, so don't judge me. So like y'all stick with me. Okay. My journey, like so many others, has not been linear. I've had diagnoses, debt, failure, depression, bad coping mechanisms, excuses to keep from actually winning. Because winning has felt like it's not for me. In the past, it has felt like winning for me is a fluke. Not something to be linearly strive for, or an idea of output and input, but an happenstance. Of course, I've had invalidating voices in the past, and current for that matter, in parentheses. But I've truly felt like the win isn't possible. I've maybe said it was to myself, or tried to make myself believe so, but internally I haven't truly felt or believed it. Wow, bitch. That was a breakthrough. That's how I be talking to myself. Sometimes my environmental circumstances really make me feel down or incompetent. My inability to do well in sports, be straight enough, masculine enough, has told me I can't win at this. A life being this, or like whatever I want to achieve. But I can win. I will win. I'm going to do everything I can to win. I will do this. I always have to give myself a little, pick me up or something at the end. What I learned from that journal entry basically was, or what I was learning this morning while journaling for the first time this year, was that I don't feel deserving of the win. I don't feel like I deserve to achieve this thing or the things that I want to achieve. And, of course, when I have this, thought in my head that like, oh, I don't feel like I deserve the win, I have to look back on the past and see what has happened in the past to lead up to this moment, or what factors could be at play as to why I don't feel like I'm deserving of the win. And a lot of it has to do with my foundation and just, my diagnosis, he's dead and all that other kind of stuff. It all comes back down to that not feeling good enough, not feeling deserving. I'm trying to get to a place where I do feel deserving and I'm not scared to win. Because that's another aspect of it. It's not only feeling like I can't win, but also feeling scared to win, or like what that looks like internally. Not very much so subconsciously, but not to the forefront of my mind to where I'm like, I'm procrastinating doing this thing because I'm scared of what's going to be on the other side of this if it wins. Because there's always an aspect if it fails. We always think consciously, we always think about like, what if it fails? And that's something that really bothers me, perfectionism and all that stuff. But we don't think about what if we win also. Like, yeah, we think about like what happens if we like win to a great extent, but I feel like there's a level of fear there of winning because I didn't feel like I was deserving of winning, or that the win wasn't for me. Like, because not only was those foundational aspects, a part, but like things like sports, like that, I gave that example, and that was a very specific example, especially for me, because I've never been good at a lot of sports. No matter what sport I tried, got into, I just wasn't. I'm not cut like that. Like, I could do the sport, I could do the actions, but when it came to competition in sports and stuff and winning, I didn't win things. So like, even like that, as a kid, for some kids, winning and like striving to win and stuff, that builds a lot of confidence in them and a lot of willpower in them and stuff. But for the kids that can't seem to win and stuff, that could be another aspect of something that's tearing them down and stuff, or making them feel incompetent, or making them feel non-deserving of certain things. And it also takes a hit on their self-worth when they can't win at this thing that everybody else is doing, or that people make it seem like it's so easy, or people make it seem like it's linear, that you can like, oh, you need to do this thing, and there you go, you'll win. But it just wasn't for me. A lot of sports just wasn't for me. Or I'll say I probably didn't have the willpower for certain sports. I didn't have the hand-eye coordination. I never just like it was a lot of being put on the spot in sports. It was just a lot of now. And I just like, oof, it was too much. It was too much for me. Especially now, I think that I'm getting to a point. Let me read this directly from my notes. I am deserving of everything Spirit, Universe, God has shown me is possible, and that I want for myself. Let me read that again to myself. Part of me getting to the win and feeling like I deserve to win is me believing in those things that I'm striving for, believing that I can achieve those things that I want to achieve in this life, and having faith in that, but also having faith in myself, believing that I am good enough, believing that I can do, no matter what nobody has told me, no matter what diagnoses I'm dealing with that are making it a little bit harder for me, or no matter what environmental factors. One second. No matter what environmental factors are in play that like make it all the more harder, all the more distracting, I have to keep that internal feeling that I am deserving. I have to keep that inner knowing that I am deserving. I have to get back to the point where I don't have to believe in myself, because there's already an inner knowing of belief. Like, believing in myself is not even a question. It's just like a thing that I do. It's just a thing that I just improve. It's just a thing that just happens. It's not something that I have to necessarily believe in. It's just something that feels good, and something that I like, whether it does good or bad. Like, I am deserving to do this thing in this space right now. And if this brings me joy, nothing else should matter. Or if this brings me fulfillment, I'll say nothing else should matter. You know, no outside factors, no whatever recognition I could get for something. If I just do the things, like, I don't even have to believe in myself per se, because that belief is already. Let me read this again. You know, not looking out, you know, I feel like it's always nice to have that external validation. And I'm not finna sit here and tell you, like, outside validation does nothing, because it does wonders, especially for people like me that grew up sometimes wanting that extra validation and not getting it, especially with the foundation that you have. Like that a lot of that external validation is like very validating and really helps you feel rooted in yourself, and really helps you like understand it, like, okay, bitch, like, it's not only me that's believing I'm good, like other people are seeing like, hey, you doing a good job, bitch. But like, I don't get into a point where I don't need that, you know what I mean? Being okay either way. I have a great example about this. Lizzo has lost some weight, and she looks good. She looked good before, in my opinion. But I noticed with all the comments of people congratulating her and clapping for her and stuff, she's not liking those comments and stuff, just like she wasn't doing that before. Like, nothing changed, you know what I mean? She's still confident in herself. She still, you know, she still shows off her body and stuff. But that was just an aspect, because like on Instagram, you can see when the author or creator likes the comments, and she never really likes the comments, even if it's like her friends or something like that. So I knew that like she wasn't doing this before, she's not doing it now, basically. Like, she didn't need that. I feel like she has gotten to a point, or is getting to a point, she's on this journey too with all of us, but she's at that point where it's just like she doesn't need this external validation from this comment section or these likes to validate who she is, what she's done, what she can do, and believe in her abilities, you know what I mean? Or believe, you know, that she's pretty now. Like, she always believed she was pretty. She didn't need these other people to tell her she was pretty. And now that she's lost weight, she still knows she's pretty. She still knows she's beautiful. She still knows she's deserving. So those comments are still indifferent to her, even though they are positive, more positive. The win isn't for me. And then I said, or so I thought. And what I mean by that is, I thought I wasn't deserving of the win. Like, I thought I wasn't good enough or whatever. But like, that knowing that I can win is like, makes all the difference for me. I'm trying to really put this into words that like y'all can understand and maybe feel a little something. Understanding that you can have that glorious moment, that you can win after so many failures, that it is possible, that winning for you is just not a happenstance or a fluke or just something that happens every now and again. You can win all the time. And it all comes from a place of feeling deserving, feeling good enough. And I think that's the part that we need to work on, in terms of knowing that you deserve to win. Even if you haven't won yet, or if you never won, or like you want this win. Not putting the win on the timeline, but just knowing that you are going to win, and that you can win, and you have the ability to win, can make all the difference. Because when you don't believe that you can win, you slow down. You don't feel as motivated. It's just like, what's the point? If I'm not going to win anyway, like, what's the point of putting all this energy into something that's not going to give me nothing back? You know what I mean? But when you know you can win, and you know that there is a finish line per se of that winning, or getting to that point that you want to get to, when you know that is there, and you know, and because I feel like, I'll say it like this, I feel like a lot of times in life we don't know when that finish line is, if that finish line is there for us, if we're doing the right things, if like, is this the thing that I need to be doing, is this my purpose, and all this and that. But if you keep faith in the fact that you know that you're going to win, you know that finish line is there, and you're going to do everything you can and everything in your ability to get there, But being able to put all that energy into that, you have to believe every day that you are worth winning, that you deserve to win, that you are good enough to win. Like, yeah, you see all these other people winning, and you may see the things that they have that you don't have, and you compare yourself, but you are just as deserving as them to win. And that's what I've been having to realize, and that's why I made this video. Have will in yourself, but not to a fault. You know, if you know, we always have this little moment in the conversation where we bring the realism into or logic into it. We're just like, you know, no, I'm not gonna tell you not to have will in yourself. What do I mean? You have to have that unwavering will, like no matter what nobody says to you, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, like you have to continue. And I know there's like a very much so hustle kind of feeling, hustle kind of moment we have here, hustle culture kind of moment. But truly and honestly, if you want that thing to happen, you have to have that will. You can't give up. You can't give up. You have to know that you're good enough. You have to know that you're deserving. You have to continue to fight. You have to fight. Bitch, you gotta fight. That's all I got. Bitch, you gotta fight. You got to fight. And this shit not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be easy in the slightest. But you gotta fight for what you want, because you know that you can have it, and you know it's yours, and you know you can win it, and you know you can achieve it. You gotta fight for that shit every day. Every day. But within that, we are human. We're not robots. So as artists, as creatives, as people that work 9 to 5s, people that, well, not saying that artists and creators don't work 9 to 5s, but y'all get what I'm trying to say. Whatever you're doing, spending most of your time doing, or the things, endeavors that you're trying to do, you always need rest and regroup, because that's another aspect of it. Getting your sleep, doing your medications, doing meditation, doing your yoga, keeping up with your health, you know, in terms of going to the doctor, and just, you know, eating better, or eating certain things that, you know, are healthy for your body and healthy for you to thrive. Those are also aspects that keep your mental in check, to be able to keep a more positive mind. Because when you eat certain foods, and you listen to certain music, and you watch certain movies, and you do certain stuff, and you don't do the other part of it that like refreshes you and recovers you and builds you up and validates you and all that kind of stuff, and makes you feel rooted, you are a lot more likely to get into those spaces where you're not believing in yourself, or you're like, what the fuck? Because your brain is just like, your brain is a very strong, it's the brain, an organ, or it's a muscle, whatever the fuck that thing is. It's up in there, and it does a lot of shit. Keep yourself healthy can keep your brain healthy, can keep you in a positive mind state most of the time. And when you're not in those positive mind states, you have things that you can do and things you can lean on, find healthy coping mechanisms to get through certain rough patches. Know that you can break. It's okay for you to break, not at the expense of your physical health, and not at the expense of others' physical health or different stuff like that. But you are allowed to break. You are allowed to have your moments. But at the end of the day, no matter how long you take off, whether you take a year off, whether you done take 20 years off, whether you done took 10 years off, 5 months off, you know what that thing is that you want so desperately. You want it so bad. And you may not feel the motivation for it or whatever. I want you to look at why you don't have the motivation for it. Like, why don't you have the will for that? Is it something that you're telling yourself? Is it something internally that you feel that's make you feel like you can't achieve that thing? For me, it kind of comes down to this feeling of not feeling good enough, or not feeling deserving enough for these things. So it kind of puts I kind of get in my own way with certain things. But yeah, find that thing that's holding you back. For me, it's not feeling good enough, or not feeling deserving. So I'm working on that. I'm working on feeling like I am deserving, feeling like I am talented, feeling like I can do these things, and like I can achieve these things that I want to achieve. in closing, I just want to say you are deserving. No matter what you want to do, whether that's you want to get your custody back of your kids, if you're in prison watching this, because I know y'all be having phones and stuff. If you want to improve your spiritual, if you want to, work on yourself, if you want to become a successful hairstylist, if you want to become a successful dancer, sometimes we have things that like make it unable for us to do certain things, and even then it's just like, like if you really want it, like do something, like whatever thing from that aspect brings you joy, like try to find the joy in it still, even if you have things that's like holding you back. Like there's always some small thing that you can do that can validate you and make you feel happy or deserve, or make you feel like you're making progress basically towards your goals or whatever you want to achieve. But yeah, you are deserving of everything you want in this life, everything that God has shown you that you can have in this life, or the trajectory of your life, or whatever. You are deserving of those things. So I want you to remember that at all times. Remember who you are, and remember that you are deserving. Strive to be that little kid that believes naturally in themselves, that doesn't have to believe in believing. You know what I mean? That just is doing. Fuck the mental blockages. Do it. Just do it. Not just do it, but like, y'all know all the context that goes into when I say just do it. All the working on yourself and taking breaks and taking rest. But ultimately, knowing that you're deserving is the key to all of this. Knowing that you are deserving of these things. Because if you know you're deserving, it feels achievable. It not only is on your vision board, it not only is in your journals, in your manifestation journals, but it is part of you, and it feels real, and it feels possible. Because you can do all that stuff all day, but if you don't truly believe it, if you don't really, really believe it and really know that it can happen and it will happen and it will come to pass and you are deserving and it like is for you, if you don't truly believe that, I don't know if it's going to be so easy to achieve those certain things. You have to believe, like, not only in the goal, but believe in yourself. And yeah, I'm gonna keep saying the same thing over and over in different ways. If I can keep making this video, if I keep recording this video and keep talking to this camera. So bye, y'all. Have fun. Have a good life. Ooh, come back next week. I want you to subscribe. I want you to like, because your girl, I be trying to do what I can when I can. And this was just something that was on my heart, on my soul, on my spirit to get to y'all today. So I would really appreciate a like, for real, for real. I know my analysts be showing me that most of y'all don't get to the end of the video, but if you got to the end of the video, like it. Like, talk to me in the comments. I be talking back, because I ain't got a whole bunch of subscribers right now. And even when I do get a bunch of subscribers and stuff, I'm still gonna be talking to y'all. I'm still gonna be, having dialogue with y'all for the most part. But yeah, I'll see y'all later. Bye.